My name is Alex Rivera, and for 8 years, I'd been the quiet guy on Willow Creek Lane who paid his HOA dues on time, mowed his lawn at exactly 3.5 inches, and never once complained about the tacky holiday decorations the board forced on everyone. That all changed the week my water bill jumped from $87 to $1,240 in a single month. It started with a knock at 7:03 a.m. on a Tuesday. Karen Whitmore, HOA president and self-appointed queen of the neighborhood, stood on my porch clutching a clipboard like it was the 10 Commandments. "Mr. Rivera," she said, lips pursed so tight they turned white. "Your sprinkler system has been running nonstop for 6 days. We've had complaints. I hadn't touched the sprinkler controller in weeks." I told her that. She smiled the way a cat smiles at a cornered mouse and handed me a violation. Notice with a $500 fine attached. Pay within 10 days or we'll place a lien. That same afternoon, I noticed the ground near my driveway was soggy. Not damp, soggy like a sponge. A dark stain spread across the concrete and trickled into the street. I grabbed a shovel, dug 6 inches down, and hit water. My main line was geysering under the soil. I called the city water department. They came out, checked the meter, and shrugged. "Pressure's fine on our side. Problems between the meter and your house. That's homeowner responsibility," or the tech glanced at Karen's house across the street, HOA territory. "The water line runs under the easement the HOA controls." I remembered signing something years ago, giving them maintenance rights to all underground utilities in the front yards. At the time, I thought it was just bureaucracy. Now it felt like a loaded gun. I installed my first security camera that night, cheap 4K, Wise pointed at the water meter. I wasn't sure what I expected to catch, but my gut screamed this wasn't an accident. 2 days later, water started seeping through my foundation. I came home from work to find my garage ankle deep. The drywall in the downstairs bedroom bowed like wet cardboard. My wife cried when she saw our wedding album floating in the hallway. Karen sent an email that evening. "Unfortunately, some residents neglect their property until it affects the community aesthetic. We are forced to take corrective action." Corrective action. I stared at those words until they burned into my brain. Then I checked the new camera footage. Nothing yet, but I added 3 more cameras that night. One facing the street, one the side yard, and one hidden in the bushes pointed directly at the valve box, where the main shutoff lived. I was ready. The flood got worse before it got better. By Friday, the water had wicked up the walls to waist height downstairs. ServPro quoted $38,000 to dry us out and replace the flooring. Insurance denied the claim. Gradual seepage wasn't covered. Karen sent another email reminding everyone that unsightly water stains on exterior walls now violated Section 14C and would be fined daily. I stopped sleeping. Every creak outside made me bolt to the monitors. At 2:17 a.m. on Sunday, motion-triggered camera 3, the one hidden in the azaleas. A figure in a dark hoodie moved fast across my lawn. The streetlight caught the reflective HOA logo on the back of the jacket. They knelt by the valve box, pried it open with a crowbar, and disappeared inside for 43 seconds. When they stood up, the hoodie slipped back just enough for the porch light to illuminate. Karen Whitmore's unmistakable platinum blonde bob. She looked straight at my house, smiled, and flipped the lid closed. I replayed it 10 times, heart hammering so hard I thought I'd stroke out. The timestamp was crystal clear. I saved the clip to 3 separate drives and uploaded it to the cloud under the file name. Karen Murder 4K. Monday morning, I marched to the HOA office with a USB stick. Karen sat behind her desk, sipping a latte, fake surprised to see me. "Alex, how's the water situation?" I plugged the stick into her computer and hit play. Her face went from tanned to ghost white in under 2 seconds. "That's doctored," she stammered. 4K 60 FPS with infrared. Timestamp matches the city's meter logs that show pressure spiking exactly when you opened the main. She tried the smile again, weaker. "Even if it's real, you gave us easement rights." We were inspecting. At 2 a.m., with a crowbar? Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, probably the other board members, and her mask slipped completely. "What do you want, Alex?" "I want you to pay for the damage. Every cent, and I want you gone." She laughed, but it cracked in the middle. "You think one video scares me? We've got lawyers on retainer." I leaned in. "So do I now. And unlike you, I'm not bluffing." I walked out before she could answer. On the way home, I stopped at the county. Clerk and filed a lis pendens on every board member's property. Let them try to sell with my lawsuit cloud hanging over their heads. That night, the valve box stayed closed. But the war had only started. Karen went nuclear. By Wednesday, certified letters arrived from the HOA's law firm, some downtown Shark Tank called Beaumont and Leach, claiming my cameras violated community privacy standards and demanding I remove them within 48 hours or face $1,000 daily fines. They attached a 2019 amendment signed by exactly 3 board members, including Karen, that supposedly banned unauthorized surveillance of common areas. I laughed so hard I almost cried. The easement was common area, sure, but my cameras were on my property, pointed at my property. I sent the letter to my new attorney, a pit bull named Monica Reyes who eats HOAs for breakfast. Monica's reply was one sentence. Tell Karen to pound sand. See you in court. Thursday night, someone egged every camera lens and spray-painted snitch across my garage door. Friday, the HOA's landscaping crew accidentally ran over my mailbox with a riding mower. Saturday, a tow truck hooked my wife's car at 3 a.m. because Karen had apparently declared our driveway an unauthorized parking zone. I replaced the cameras with hardwired PoE Rio links that live-streamed to a local server and an off-site backup. Then I did something I'd been dreaming about for days. I invited the local news. Channel 9 showed up Monday afternoon. Karen tried to block the driveway with her white Escalade, screaming about private property. But the reporter, a guy named Diego who smelled blood in the water, live-streamed the whole meltdown on Facebook. By 6 p.m., the clip had 400,000 views and the hashtag Karen V's Water was trending locally. That night, the board called an emergency closed session meeting. I wasn't invited, obviously, but the lady next door, Mrs. Chen, was on the architectural committee and owed me for fixing her Wi-Fi for 2 years. She texted me the cliff notes. Karen wanted to countersue me for defamation. Treasurer Mark tried to cut her off, saying the reserve fund was already $60K in the hole from past lawsuits. Vice President Gregg suggested they just pay my damages and make me sign an NDA. Karen threatened to expose Gregg's affair with the pool girl if he voted against her. Mrs. Chen ended the text with a single emoji. At 11:42 p.m., my phone buzzed again. Unknown number. A single photo, my dog Luna, asleep on the couch inside my house, taken from the backyard. The message underneath read, "Drop it or she swims next." I stared at the screen until the words blurred. Karen had just crossed the only line I had left. I didn't call the police yet. I wanted Karen to feel safe enough to hang herself completely. At 4:12 a.m., I carried Luna to my truck, drove her to my brother's house 20 miles away, then came home and left every light on, every interior door open, and a bowl of water on the kitchen floor like nothing had changed. I wired 2 new trail cameras inside the house, one in the hallway, one in the living room, motion triggered, no lights, no sound. Then I waited in the dark, upstairs with a baseball bat and my phone, live streaming to Monica and Diego the reporter. At 2:58 a.m., the backyard motion sensor pinged. 2 figures in black ski masks slipped over the fence. One carried bolt cutters, the other a garden hose and a wrench. They jimmied the sliding door I'd deliberately left unlocked. The hallway cam caught everything in 4K. Karen's voice, unmistakable even through the mask. Find the dog first. Then we flood the second floor so he can never prove the first flood was us. The second guy, Mark the treasurer, I recognized the limp, muttered, "This is insane. Karen, we're done after this. Shut up and turn the valve." They never found Luna, of course. 30 seconds later, I flipped every light in the house on from my phone and walked downstairs. "Looking for something?" I asked. Karen screamed. Mark dropped the wrench like it was radioactive. I hit record on my phone and read them their Miranda rights just for fun. Monica had told me I didn't have to, but it felt good. Police arrived in 6 minutes. Karen tried the "we were checking for leaks" story until the officers watched the footage on my 75-inch. Abby Mark rolled immediately, gave a full confession in exchange for a plea deal. By sunrise, Karen was in cuffs for felony burglary, vandalism, and animal cruelty. Even though Luna was fine, intent counts. The news chopper circled all morning. Ahokarin was national by noon. 3 days later, the HOA dissolved itself in an emergency vote. Every board member except Mrs. Chen resigned. Insurance finally paid out when Monica slapped them with the criminal footage. ServPro rebuilt my downstairs better than before. Paid for by the HOA's now seized reserve fund and Karen's personal assets. Judge froze them the same week. Last I heard, Karen's selling her. Escalade to cover legal fees and wearing an orange jumpsuit that matches her old lipstick. I still mow my lawn to exactly 3.5 inches. But now I do it with a smile. And 8 cameras that never blink.